There are two main reasons that you'll want to think about performance classifications. Firstly, you may want to be able to analyze frequency at a particular genre or kind of performance. Secondly, you will want a way to exclude particular performances, separately to just excluding, for example, a whole season type. This video will show you how to classify performances in the Segmentation Engine and offer some tips for doing this effectively. You can look at people's frequency at each kind of performance on the Performance Classification Variables dashboard. From here, or from the home page, we can go to the Performance Coding page. In the table, you can see any performance classifications that have been brought through from your Tessitura database in the System column. These are whatever values your organization chose for extraction into the data warehouse when you were set up on the Segmentation Engine. Right now, this also populates the SE column, but you're not stuck with what was brought through from Tessitura. In the Segmentation Engine, you can make corrections or create whole new categories. Click on the Manage Classifications button. Then, type the name of the classification you want to create in the box. Click Add. Click Close when you are finished making new ones. To apply one of your new ones to a performance, check the box to the left of the performance that you want. Click on the Apply Classification drop-down. Select one, and click the button for Apply to Selected. The new performance classification populates the main SE classification. You can filter this grid using the filter handles at the top of the different columns. On Performance Name, you can search for whole titles or just part of a word. Click Go, and only records containing that text will be shown in the grid. If at any time you want to go back to seeing your entire performance list, you can click Clear All Filters. Now all performances are shown. Often, you'll want to classify a whole range of performances at a time. Instead of checking a box next to each performance, you can apply a classification to all the results of a search at once. Start by filtering as before. Once you have just the performances you want, select the classification you want to apply. Then, click the button for Apply to All in Filter. A message will ask if you are sure. Click OK. This will apply the selected classification to all the results of your search. The new classification appears in the SE column. To remove a classification from a performance or a group of performances, select them as if you were going to apply a classification. Then, from the Performance Classifications drop-down, select Remove Classification. Click Apply to Selected or Apply to All in Filter to remove classifications from the selected performances. You can also delete performance classifications if you decide that they are no longer needed, or if they were added by mistake. You can only delete classifications which are not currently applied to any performances, so make sure you have removed the necessary classifications. Click the Manage Classifications link. In the pop-up window, you will see a list of your performance classifications as before. To delete a classification, simply click the trash can icon to the left. Here are a few tips for getting the most out of this functionality. Firstly, one of the main uses of custom classification is to create a junk or exclude category. This is a quick and simple way to flag any cancelled performances, one-off merchandise sales, or maybe even a big free event that you don't want to include. To help identify performances that need to be excluded, try sorting your list by tickets sold, then by income, highest to lowest, lowest to highest. Secondly, It is a good idea to use the filters on the settings page before you start classifying. That way, you can avoid classifying and excluding performances that you were not going to include in your segmentations anyway. You don't want to go through lots of pages of performances from 5 years ago if you were only going to segment based on the last 3. Thirdly, remember that as new performances get set up on your ticketing system, they will appear in the Segmentation Engine. They will have their system classification as default, but you might want to give them one of your own classifications. Come back to this page periodically to make sure you're keeping your coding up to date and consistent. You can also use the Performance Coding page to update repertoire scores for performances. This works the same way as performance classifications, and you can read more about this and the topics covered in this video in the help pages.